Dogs communicate to you through eye contact. Dogs communicate in subtle ways with their faces, specifically with their eyes. Constant eye contact from your dog is his way of showing his trust and affection towards you. Think of it as an understated "I love you." Avoiding eye contact, on the other hand, is a sign that your dog is uncomfortable, scared, or cowering after doing something naughty. Your dog's tail can tell you their emotions. Perhaps the most widely recognized ways dogs communicate to others is with their tails. In addition to the joyful wagging tail, a dog's tail can communicate a range of other emotions. For example, a slow wagging tail means your dog is feeling cautious, and a stiff tail held high means your dog is on alert. A low tail means your pup is feeling content, but a tucked tail means he's feeling scared. If your dog is wagging his tail vigorously enough to make his butt wiggle, we all know what I'm talking about here, he's absolutely elated to see you. Your dog can also use his tail to spread his scent. Alpha male dogs hold their tails high when marking their territory. By being able to hold their tail high, your dog can release more of a scent from his anal glands. At the same time, if your dog is scared or feels threatened, he'll tuck his tail between his legs so as to not release any scent. He may also use his tail as a fan to spread his scent into the air. When he flicks his tongue, he probably knows you're about to scold him. You'll notice your dog flicking his tongue quickly in and out of his mouth when you're about to scold him. This means your dog knows he's done something naughty and he feels bad about it. If your dog flicks its tongue at you, it's his way of telling you that he's sorry. Excessive sneezing and yawning can mean that your dog is stressed. Dogs sometimes try to communicate with us by sneezing and yawning unnecessarily. A misplaced sneeze or yawn means that your dog is uncomfortable and stressed, often around new pets or people. Believe it or not, humans do this when they feel uncomfortable too. This can get confusing because dogs also yawn when they're feeling content around you. The key is to look for misplaced yawning in unfamiliar circumstances. Belly exposure means your dog feels comfortable. In addition to face and tail movement, dogs also try to communicate using the rest of their body. If your pup rolls over and bares his belly to you, he's initiating this gesture to appease you, but a belly rub is always welcome. Dogs also communicate with each other this way. Dogs don't really chew if they can swallow it whole because they don't have to. If your dog can just swallow the food, they usually will instead of chewing. Dog saliva, unlike humans, doesn't contain any digestive enzymes, meaning their saliva works mainly as a lubricant that can help food pass through their esophagus easily into the stomach, where the digestion really starts. Their saliva also contains chemicals with antibacterial properties, which can help and assist in healing superficial wounds. Although its power is limited and visits to the vet are necessary, it explains why many dogs have tower cones around their heads. The pups just can't help themselves from trying to help their wounds heal. This bow means your dog wants to play. If your dog faces you and dives into a bow with his front legs on the ground and his butt in the air, this is known as the play bow, and it's your dog's way of telling you that it's playtime. If you want to make your dog's day, try playing bow back at him. Your basic downward dog yoga pose will do the trick, and your pup will be grateful that you're trying to speak his language. Raising a paw means they want attention. Dogs communicate that they want attention by raising a paw and touching you. You probably see this most often when you're sitting and your dog approaches you to put a paw on your knee. In puppies, this is communicated by pawing the air. Sometimes when they bring you things, it's meant to be a gift. Every once in a while, your dog might bring you a ball, a stick, or another toy. Most people read this as an invitation to play, which it very well might be. But if your dog brings you one of his favorite toys and drops it at your feet, it's more likely he's giving it to you as a gift. This is your pup's way of showing affection for you by sharing his favorite things with you. Tail chasing can indicate a problem. We all love to watch our dog chase his tail in circles from time to time. Let's face it, this can be fun for a few minutes. But the reality is that constant tail chasing can be an indication of a deeper problem, such as OCD. That's right, your dog can suffer from an obsessive-compulsive disorder, which may be treatable by your vet. Your dog's tail is trying to tell you something. Have you ever noticed that your dog wags his tail in different directions? Experts agree that if your dog is wagging his tail to the right, he's happy or relaxed. But on the other hand, if he's wagging his tail to the left, he may be feeling anxious, nervous, or threatened. As humans, noticing these subtle messages can be hard, but you can bet other dogs understand them clearly. Tails help keep your dog balanced. Animal experts believe that the tail evolved as a way to help dogs keep their balance when walking along narrow ledges or paths. While they may no longer need this type of assistance, that tail has found numerous other uses. Tail wagging is, surprisingly, a learned behavior. Dogs do not start wagging their tails the minute they're born. It's a skill they need to learn. Most puppies will start wagging their tail around 1.5 months after they're born as they try to communicate with their siblings and their mother. The dog's tail is an extension of his spine, meaning they can injure their tails. Your dog's tail is literally an external extension of the spine. It has its own discs, muscles, and anchors. Being more exposed than the remainder of the spine, the tail is far more susceptible to injury, but in most cases will recover fully. Many people believe hair from a dog could cure rabies. We've all heard the term hair of the dog, but did you know that this phrase was coined in approximately 23 AD? Roman naturalist and author Pliny the Elder was said to believe that the best way to cure rabies was to take the ashes from the burnt tail hairs of the dog responsible for the bite and rub them in the wound. Following you around means they're attached to you. Of course, a dog that follows you around for every step you take isn't completely ideal, especially in more private places like the bathroom, but you can't deny that it's completely adorable. According to vets, this type of behavior is simply because it's a dog's instinct to always do things with your family. Cue the awes. Licking your body or face means they're easing their stress. While some people love it, others might find it completely gross. It's a sure thing to say that dogs like giving people a couple licks every once in a while. What you probably don't know is that giving licks is actually a form of submissive behavior, and it helps dogs in easing their stress, while also showing you some love, of course. Dogs can sense when something is wrong. Dogs don't need to physically speak to their owners to sense that something's wrong or if you're upset. Dogs are also incredibly good at it. Many countries have outlawed tail docking. While many breeders and owners in the US have their dogs' tails docked, there are many countries around the world such as Australia, Austria, Canada, Finland, Greece, Norway, and Turkey that have outlawed the practice. Going crazy after a bath is them releasing stress. So you give your dog a bath, and he cooperates because he's a good boy. But as soon as you're done drying him off, he takes off. Soon he's running around the house like the speed of light, and you're amazed. There are two possible explanations for this. One is that although your dog is good during bath time, it's still a stressful experience for him. By running around, it gives him a way to release the stress. Another reason why they run around is to get the stink of the bath off. Dogs don't really like the clean smell of soap, and so running around might get the smell. Going to the bathroom along a north-south axis is instinctual. Dogs aren't just particular about their nets, but they also like to go number 2 while being aligned with the north-south axis of the Earth's magnetic field. Researchers were able to prove this by doing a study involving 57 different breeds, and they're unsure how the dogs are able to sense the magnetic field or why they have. Jumping on you is actually a sign of dominance. Although it may seem like play behavior or an enthusiastic greeting, jumping up on you is actually a sign that your dog is trying to assert their dominance over you. By encouraging this behavior with affection, you're reinforcing the behavior. Leaning on you means they just want to be close to you. Does your dog constantly lean on you? Many dogs like to lean on their owner's legs, feet, or bodies. This seems especially true in the giant dog breeds. The reason for this is simple. Your dog wants to be closer to you. A less common reason for doing this may be a sign of fear or insecurity. Leaning may also be related to separation anxiety, which will show through other signs. Looking in the mirror is normal. Does your dog look or bark at his reflection? This behavior is completely normal when you think about it. There's a moving, odorless dog that appears in the house. It's probably about as scary as him seeing a ghost. Many dogs eventually learn to ignore the weird specter. Digging is an instinctual activity, and it's written incredibly deep in a dog's DNA. It's also especially strong in terrier breeds. Dogs in natural packs will dig to hide food or to try and uncover food like small rodents. A den dug in the cool earth can also provide shelter from the heat. which sniffing helps your dog get to know you. Oh, the dreaded and embarrassing crotch sniffing. However, understanding the cause of the behavior will help you realize that your dog isn't trying to be rude. If you've seen two dogs meet for the first time, you know that a dog's version of greeting is sniffing each other's genital areas and rear ends. In dogs, these areas contain scent glands that provide information about the dog, like their gender and health. Humans also have scent glands that offer clues about who they are, hence a dog is just sniffing around in order to get to know the person. The behavior isn't harmful, but can be annoying. The best way to train your dog to stop is by rewarding them for sitting still when a guest arrives, rather than going in first.
Maybe 5 years ago. But now that I'm starting to see dogs open up that like don't have any prior training, and they completely like start engaging into different things and their mind starts ticking a certain way and people are like, whoa, and you're like, yeah. So training for most people means that your dog has an issue, right? Or like if you want to go to the gym, you're like, well, I must be not in good shape. It's like, not really. People go to the gym all the time to feel better, to better themselves. Same thing with dogs and dog training. And this is good for dog trainers because you can use this as marketing of like, just because your dog doesn't have a problem doesn't mean you can't come in and work with a professional, you know? And it's really, really cool. And that's something I discovered in the last 6 months as well, developing different programs for different things. Because I'm a fix-it guy. And to be frank, that's all I really care about is I want to work with a dog with a problem because that's what my passion is. Everybody that has a dog should be doing this sort of stuff, you know, learning new things. Even if you take one little thing away from this that changes your relationship with your dog, totally worth the half a day you spent. So the same thing where you like Google like my finger hurts and then all of a sudden you're dying and had all these different diseases. Same thing with dog training, okay? This is a big one. So dog training is a very unregulated, very highly political thought about thing because the statistics were done a couple years ago, but 70% of Americans have dogs. There's certain people that advocate for dogs. We have a lot of good advocacy and we have a lot of terrible, deadly advocacy. Some of them will be politicians, some of them will be actors and musicians, and they will put their emotions and thoughts off of things that they don't know about, and it'll kill dogs. And we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But training for me, I wanna learn. I'm a sponge every day of my life. I have found that my experiences and my approach has been helpful and useful for the majority of people that I work with, which is what created me to be here today. I started training for free, and then people were like, you did more than what I paid for. That was something that was really big for me. And so when I started working with dogs, I never wanted to be the best. I never wanted to be any of that. I just wanted to help. And that's what's got me to the platform that I'm at now and being able to do what I do and be here. Super grateful for this because I'm able to spread my knowledge and help you guys out with your dogs. But I think it's become way too political, and what's actually suffering is the dogs. Is children from the time that they're adolescent, pre-K, if you will, like 4 or 5 year old, all the way up until you get your master's to your in your 20s. We go to school, we educate ourselves to prepare us for life, right? So when we're babies until we're young adults or adults, we are training by professionals to prepare for a better lifestyle to do what we should be doing in life. Dogs, a lot of times don't get anything. They're just like, here you go, good luck. Oh, there's a problem, you think? If your dog is happy and you are comfortable, you have found your match. So if you go to a dog trainer, I don't care if they're purely this or purely that or negative this or negative that. If you're comfortable and it's working and your dog is progressing, you're good. Don't overthink it. That's it.